So the PS4 has been out for a good while, but is it still worth it as of today? And how does it stack up against the mighty PS5? We're about to find out. So the PS4 has 3 different versions, as you might know. The original PS4 released back in 2013, and the Slim and the Pro released in 2016. These versions do vary on performance, specs, design and more. If you want a good PS4 experience, is the PS4 Pro really necessary? Or is the PS4 Slim capable enough? Let's start with the console that I believe the most people are willing to spend the money for, the PS4 Slim. If you don't have the original PS4 or don't own a PS4 in general, then the Slim is for the ones that would like to try out the PlayStation experience. But keep in mind that some games can make the PS4 sound like a jet engine. Remember that the Slim have internal components that are almost the same as the original PS4. On the Slim you have the newer USB 3.1 ports at the front of the console, Bluetooth 4.0 and 5.0 GHz Wi-Fi. But one thing I really love about the Slim version is that the whole console has a matte finish, and that it has roughly 30% less volume than the original PS4, less visible scratches and more portability. Very good. So why don't get the original for cheaper if the specs are very similar to the Slim, you may ask. We'll get to that in a bit. But first we have the powerhouse to talk about. Well, at least it used to be a powerhouse. The PS4 Pro is for the ones that are willing to spend a bit more money for a much improved console. This console have greater hardware that can run 4K rendering and deliver a smoother VR experience if you're into that. You also get double the storage, 1TB in the base model of the Pro and 500GB in the base model of the Slim and original. The console is estimated to be twice as powerful compared to the PS4, which is a huge leap forward. Games on this console still looks gorgeous and runs well. This makes it the best bang for the buck due to a solid performance for a good price. It's a great console to get if you want to get the most out of the PlayStation 4. But please keep in mind to not expect PS5 performance out of the PS4 Pro, and that it can get quite hot at some times. But at least it's better at rendering and handling heat compared to the original and the Slim. Despite that, it's still a worthy upgrade if you're coming from the original PS4, or even the Slim if you're willing to spend the money. With that said, what about the original? The original PS4 has shown its age. This version stopped being produced as soon as the PS4 Slim started to hit the shelf, which means that the Slim most likely haven't been used as much as the original if you buy one used, which I reckon you do. Also, you get small improvements and you're less likely to run into issues on the Slim. But if you already own the original version and wondering if you should upgrade, then the Pro is a great choice if you don't want to spend a fortune for the PS5. Don't get me wrong, the PS5 truly is a powerhouse. But if you're looking for something less than $200, then I suggest the PS4 Pro simply by the fact that the price difference between the PS5 and PS4 Pro is absolutely insane. Or if you manage to find a Slim for around $150 or less, then you might should be considering getting that if you're not planning on playing graphic intense games. As you can see, I managed to find the PS4 Slim for around $150 and the Pro for around $200, which I believe are pretty good deals. Either way, you get a nice controller that's solid and ergonomic. It has quite a nice D-pad which I really like, good analog sticks even if they tend to wear out after a while, and plenty of extra features. Those features being a speaker, a touchpad, and lights. Although, the triggers aren't the best due to their lack of good grip. But at least it's a hefty improvement over the DualShock 3's triggers. And while it's solid, the plastic casing can feel cheap. The controller can feel slippery in the hands due to the controller not having any textures on the plastic housing. Also, the Xbox One controller is widely acceptable on PC, while the DualShock 4 can still be used but on less programs, so keep that in mind if you're planning to use the controller on PC. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a great controller, I really like it. But don't forget the stick drift issue. I myself never experienced it on the DualShock 4, but apparently many seems to do. So, how was my experience with the PS4? Surprisingly, the Slim delivered an enjoyable experience. I tried out Gran Turismo Sport and Spider-Man for 2 hours each, and the performance didn't disappoint. Both games looked gorgeous while running smoothly on 60 FPS. I especially enjoyed the Gran Turismo's graphics due to the amazing HDR, which makes a nice difference. Don't get me wrong, I still was impressed by the Spider-Man's graphics, but Gran Turismo Sport's optimization is excellent, so it's hard to beat. But on the other hand, the console did get noisy when inserting a disc, and shortly after, the fans started ramping up.
Welcome to Sony Airlines.
At least by earlier experiences, I can safely say that the original PS4 is tend to be the noisiest out of the three. But regardless, the controller was comfortable for long gaming sessions. The console has several advantages for the low price. First and foremost, it has a vast game library, and there are plenty of amazing titles and PlayStation exclusives that can be played on the PS4. You also get a powerful machine for the price, especially if you get the Pro version, which can output 4K video and HDR content. The PS4 is a great multimedia device which can be used to watch YouTube, Netflix, play music or even play Blu-ray discs and more. The price is also a huge advantage over the PS5. Moving on, the PS4 has some cons as you'd probably expect, one being no 4K upscaling. Well, except for the PS4 Pro, which can do 4K video, but on the other hand, it doesn't have ray tracing like the PS5. The PS4 Pro comes in clutch again when comparing to the other PS4 versions regarding the storage. 500GB standard in the original and Slim, while the Pro has a 1TB hard drive. The con is that the PS4 doesn't have an SSD whatsoever, which makes loading times longer if not much longer. I would have done a quick comparison on Gran Turismo Sport between the PS4 and PS5, but unfortunately I couldn't get the game to work on the PS5, even when it's supported. Anyways, the biggest drawback is definitely the noise and heat that the console can produce. This is a deal breaker whether to get one or not for many people. The heat can worsen the performance and the noise can be quite distracting. If you're planning on getting a PS4, consider looking for a console that has been well taken care of to minimize the chance of getting hardware issues. With that said, the PS4 is still a great console that holds up well even today, especially the Pro. In a lifespan of 10 years, the PS4 has grown a massive game library with many exclusives to get attached into.
Para decidir qué juegos son realmente los mejores estoy haciendo.
Anyways, the graphics aren't bad at all considering no ray tracing whatsoever, and in general I still found the performance my PS4 Slim was putting out to be a sheer pleasure. Therefore, I still recommend the PS4. I would go with the Pro even if it costs a bit more, but it's worth it in the long run due to the huge performance increase for only about $50 more. It's a perfect console if you want to get into the modern PlayStation experience for a low price, if you don't want to spend all your hard-earned cash on a PS5.
Money.
And if you're coming from a PS3, if so, mad respect, then getting a PS4 is the difference between night and day. Speaking of PS3, if you want to see how the PS3 holds up as of today, then check out the video here on the left. Spoilers, it's still amazing like the PS4. With that said, thank you for sticking around till the end, subscribe if you wanna see more videos like this, and let me know your thoughts on the PS4 in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video.
Blooper time.
So why don't get the original for cheaper if the specs are very similar to... Also,